You can hear another piece by them, which I can listen a million times and not get bored from. It was just amazing. On the soundtrack of the work that is on this table, it's now a bit gone a mess, but it's an installation here under the soundtrack. I'll put it after we finish this speeches. So I don't need to introduce Pete West, the mayor of Brighton, who is head of director of many charities. And just was a long journey from Paris to Brighton on bike. I got tired just to hear this sentence. And I met Pete here about a year ago when he came for the first CIS exhibition. I'll talk about CIS for a minute later on.
So don't tell too much of the story,
yeah.
Otherwise there'll leave me nothing to say. But thank you, Gil. And can I just, as the choir haven't quite run away yet, can we just thank them again, because this city is full of song and celebration. And I've never heard them sing before. I think they're absolutely fantastic.
And they came here and completely volunteered to come here to do the performance, so it's important. Thank you.
Yes, I'm Pete West. I'm the mayor of Brighton and Hove. Gil forgot the Hove bit. I have to mention Hove, otherwise the Hovites get very upset. And yeah, and I'll be, as was said earlier, this is my final week, so I'll be handing over the chains of office, these beautiful chains, to my successor on Thursday. It's a slightly emotional moment, but I'm not going to let that affect me now. Yeah, I just wanted to say something a little bit about artist open houses first of all, because I think it's really one of the most popular and accessible bits of our spring festivals. Because there's actually 3 festivals at least going on all at once in May, including open houses, which is a distinct festival in itself. I think, you know, the number of places I've been to over the years, I think there's anything quite like being able to actually experience an artist's work in their own living environment, in their own home, and to learn a little bit about, you know, what is behind the person that has created the work and what it is that makes them and their art special. So, and I think it's a wonderful thing that people open up their houses and their lives to the public to be able to do that, and it satisfies our curiosity and our nosiness as well, doesn't it? A little bit. So it's lovely to do. And this part of the festival, though, goes beyond just individual artists and their homes, because it strives to be an inclusive community event too, including schools, homeless hostels, organisations supporting refugees, organisations working with artists with mental health issues and learning disabilities. So it's a very inclusive part of our spring festival. I think there's about 200 venues. I think that's right. And I hope that I might get a moment to explore a few more before the year is out. As Gil mentioned, I came here last year at the very beginning of my mayoral term, and it's a real pleasure to be invited again, and as it was then. And that was the first time I experienced what he calls this is the Socially Engaged Art Salon. I didn't really know what to expect when I first walked in the door. I'd come hot foot from being from dancing in the Kent Town Carnival in my full robes, whirling a bit like a dervish, and I was pretty hot and, yeah, worse for it really, in my robes and chains, and I came bursting in the door to a totally different experience to what had been going on out in the streets. And I think you were a little bit perplexed at the time as well.
You look like Santa Claus.
But I quickly grabbed that Gil has got a particular focus. I mean, he exhibits the works of refugees, but you've got a particular focus that translated pretty quickly for me, which is the reimagining of the Union flag, celebrating the communities and the cultures that have contributed to the UK as a modern place. And that draws on the textile designs from those cultures from around the world, both peoples that would be drawn from our ex-colonial heritage, but also from other people that have come here from different countries, many countries, that have chosen to make their homes here. And this is a real celebration, and I think, and I'm pointing to the tie, so it's the new union flag, but you call it quite rightly the flag of diversity. And I'm really, really proud to have been able to take part in celebrating that, and I particularly took part with your selfie movement, and Gil came to the town hall on several occasions with bigger and bigger flags, and eventually we were hanging this ginormous one off the balcony inside the town hall, which was a fantastic setting, wasn't it, really? But
It's out, one outside. It's outside, so please wait until the end and we'll do a group photography with it outside the house. It's too big for you.
Yeah. And then he gave me, because he knew I was after it, because you've been wearing this tie, the tie of diversity, which you've translated this art into something. There's a clock up there, and when I came in the door, there's a seat.
Yeah, and there's a
there's all sorts, isn't there? But the tie, I'm wearing ties all the time, so it was just fantastic to have this. And I can't tell you the number of conversations this tie has created and opportunities to be able to explain what you're doing. And people love it. They absolutely love it. And I've had more than one person, quite a few people, say, "Where can I get one?" So, and I know that Gresham and Fowl Blake are interested in your work as well, because I introduced them. So maybe there's at last an opportunity to create an income for your work.
Yeah, maybe I can.
We can sell ties around the country, and I think that would be fabulous. And then, because we've been talking about the flag of diversity, I some time ago noticed that all the counties in the country have got a flag, but Brighton and Hove doesn't have a flag. And that because we've only been Brighton and Hove together for 20 years and nobody thought to do that thing. And all those county flags are a bit stuffy and, you know, with the crests and things and all the rest of it on there. And not quite our thing, I suppose, in this day and age. But nevertheless, we don't have a flag. So I suggested to Gil that maybe, you know, we should. And perhaps he'd like to imagine what that should look like. So he has designed a flag, which I think is absolutely fantastic. We'll get it out in a minute, because I won't be able to hold this otherwise. But I hope that, I mean, some people might not take to it, but it might be the beginning of a conversation about our visual identity. That's what I think it is as a city, and how it expresses us in a modern light. Now I've got just a few more things to say, really. I know that you've been running, and will be running again, some DIY diversity flag workshops for adults and children. So, and they're working with members of the Migrant English project, exhibiting. And it's all very complicated. When it comes to art, there's so much to say, isn't there? So there's you're exhibiting a series of collages and ceramics. Have I got that right?
They're just on the table. It's in disarray. But
okay, so you can explore your own ways of expressing our visual identity through that, I feel. And I will also mention Rebel Yarns, which is part of the Hanover Trail, and they're doing something today. Make It Happen, is that right?
Yeah.
Homes for Refugees, a drop-in workshop with the Hummingbirds Project, where visitors will be invited to imagine, create, design, draw, knit, paint, make, even assemble homes for refugees. So you might want to go up there, it can't be very far away from here, and discover some of that as well.
3 o'clock.
So I just really, to come to an end of what I want to say, it's been an absolute pleasure and honour to support your work and all that it expresses, and to work with so many others in the city that are highlighting the plight of refugees, and to celebrate our long-standing role as a city of sanctuary. And I think all your work is more vital than ever, because the world stands in a very perilous place. And I'm very, very proud that our city shines a beacon of hope into the world, that hopefully others will draw strength from, and you're so much about a part of keeping that beacon bright. So thank you for that. I won't be going away as a person when I finish being mayor. I won't be mayor anymore, so I won't be able to do all those things. But just to let you know, I will be resuming my normal councillor duties, I will be taking a position on the council's Neighbourhoods, Inclusion, Communities and Equalities Committee, which sort of kind of works quite well with the person that I feel I've become over the last year, and the experiences I can then share and hopefully enrich the conversations that happen. And it will give me an opportunity to, as best I can, continue to support all the amazing organisations I've come to know and to love, including your work, Gil.
Thank you.
So, thank you so much, and I think we need to now officially unveil.
So you have your first big fight
right,
in the local council
and
to make it the official one.
And what I will pledge to do, and I don't know how well it will go down on Thursday, but they'll have to suffer it anyway, is I will take this with me to the council meeting, and then. Thank you. So where are you going to fly that through? Well,
The city hall, I think.
it won't be everywhere, won't it?
Can you point back?
Yeah, no, go on, let's stretch it out properly and hold it up a bit higher for people at the back. And then we can peek around the corner. Can't we?
Maybe you need to
drop
it down a little bit so you can see both. Okay, yeah, perfect. Thanks.
And if you want postcards from that,
Yeah.
they are ready in the corner. We'll deal with it after the speeches.
Okay? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, we have a few more speakers. Just Farah, do you have to go soon or?
Yes, if it's possible.
So, very good. Okay, I'll just introduce you, Farah, who English project to participate, and the whole work was financed by the Migrant English Project, which is a charity, and Platforma Art and Refugee Network, and also who else helped us to actually make this happen later on. So far, just
Yes.
describe it all.
Actually, I came to England 1981. I came for 1 month on holiday, and still I'm here because I lost everything from my country. But I'm not refugee, but I'm supporting everybody, especially those people who lost the country and lost their property and everything, their country. And I do a lot of activity, fortunate, and I'm lucky one because everybody support me. And this plate, about a year ago, I think they came to Kali Club, asked me outside the Kali Club, take a photo. Because about 15 years I supported every Monday for that project, different sort of things. Anyhow, in the end, they asked me a lot of, picture if I have. Fortunate, I grown up in my country. When I was 7 months, my parents moved to India. And the picture of that is when I was 4 years, and this is the picture here. And then after that, I went second time to India for opening ceremony of Baha'i temple with my husband and my 2 young sons. And the second one is there. One of the reasons I chose them because I lost my husband 25 years ago, and he was exist that day, and I put that picture as well. After that, we went for pilgrimage in Haifa in Israel with my husband and my children. And this holy place is for all over the world. We go for pilgrimage. And I was lucky. For 9 days I was there with my husband and my 2 children. And third one, the Baha'i temple, before my husband passed away, we went there and 1,100 people all over the world, we've been together, and luckily we've been there as well. And I'm so lucky about that. And also, always are supporting everybody in the country. I think it's enough. I had a plan to storytelling about when I was a teacher, but I thought everybody wants to talk is enough for me. Thank you.
Come to the Cloudy Club and do more. Thank you very much.
I'm part of my story. If you want to share that,
very much.
you can see. Yes.
Many things. and it's a community event. It's about inclusiveness, and it invites participation from artists of all ages and at all stages of their careers, of school and college students. I think you have some school students working on a project here, and also artists otherwise marginalised from the art world mainstream. And it's about celebrating creativity in our amazing city. It's about inviting visitors into artists' homes to meet and talk to the artists, and maybe to buy a piece of their work. So I think Gil Doron's Socially Engaged Art Salon really fulfills all these criteria and much more. And I think it's an exemplar of what an open house can be and perhaps really should be. So not only are artists invited into Gil's home, but here they're encouraged to think about issues of significance and vital importance. So the work of artists here examine the current and ongoing plight of refugees and migrants. And for example, I think, I haven't actually seen the work yet, but in photographer Russell Watkins' photo series.
Yeah, he's taking the film now.
Syrian. Okay, so Russell Watkins' photo series about Syrian stories. I think you're also going to be working with Home for Refugees artists from Hummingbird, who work with the Calais jungle refugees, and as Pete's already said, inviting visitors to imagine, create, and make and assemble homes for refugees. So, but Gil's own project, the Union Flag, reimagining the Union Jack and acknowledging the many communities worldwide that have contributed throughout history to what we think of as British cultural legacy. I think it's really important, this coming together of all races, nationalities, communities through art, and looking at what binds us and connects us rather than what separates and divides us. So I think it's really important that art makes us think, but it's also important that it includes us and welcomes us in and encourages us to be part of the creative process and to share in that creative process. So I'd really like to thank Gil and all the artists in what is a really exemplary open house, brilliant socially engaged art salon, and to wish Gil and everybody here really well for the festival and future.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Richard will say just a few words from Sanctuary on Sea. This exhibition won't be happening without Sanctuary on Sea actually fees to participate in Artist Open House. Most of the work here it's not commercial, and they rescue us for with this. So, just a few words about Sanctuary on Sea.
Yeah, thank you, Gil. Thank you for putting on this amazing exhibition. We've been happy to work with Gil for the last year or so, and his Union Flag is a really fantastic symbol of Refugee Week last year. But I want to take us onto a slightly more difficult note. Last night I had a lovely conversation with a young teacher from an East Brighton school, and she told me how about one of her 6-year-old pupils who had a birthday party recently. She invited all the kids in her class, and the teacher asked her afterwards, how did it go? None of them turned up. She was from Iraq, and her family has been suffering so much abuse and hostility where they lived in East Brighton that they've now gone back to Iraq. So although it's wonderful that we have declared our city to be a city of sanctuary, and that we pride ourselves on our inclusiveness and the welcome that we give to refugees and asylum seekers, we can't be complacent. And it's up to all of us to do whatever we can in our own little ways, especially if it's about inviting a child for a play date or something like that. These things are really important as a way we can be an inclusive city of sanctuary. And that's why it is so important that we have this art, the symbols that the artists here create. And it's so important that we've had a mayor over the last year who has done so much to make all communities in Brighton feel welcome and part of this wonderful inclusive city. And so I think urge all of you to sign up to our mailing list so we can tell you at Sanctuary on Sea what we're doing to try to make the city more open and welcoming, and for you to tell us what you're doing to do the same. and get your school to sign up to be a school of sanctuary. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Some of the work here that you see inside a small rocket, I can operate it later because it's noisy. It's a workshop we did with a lot of schools in Brighton and some schools at the Tate Modern when the New Union Flag project was exhibited there. Dawn, who invited me to Balfour School, would you like to say?
A lot of what I was going to say has already been said. I'm deputy head at Balfour Primary School. We're lucky to have a governor here with our own Balfour diversity flag, which is going to celebrate and show that we value and respect, you know, whoever you are, wherever you're from, and I think that's really, really important. We're a values-led school, we're a rights-respecting school, and it's a really important part of our identity. So thank you very much, Gil.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we're probably very tired now, so I'll just say 1 minute summarize what we have here. I just want to mention the other artists who participating here, and you can see their work around, and also events that will happen here in the next 2 weeks. So she sees, you heard about it enough. It's just in a sentence, is a space for socially engaged art, both exhibitions, project that we do outside, like with the Migrant English project in schools and hopefully others. And from basically today, we are opening artist residency upstairs for artists who would like to come, be in Brighton, soak the lovely city and its residents, do artwork, exhibit it here. It's a project we are working with some other art institutes in Brighton, Onka, Fabrica, Creative Futures and others, supported by Sanctuary on the Sea. At the moment we are seeking funding, so also artists that are not coming from middle upper class can come here, and it's really for artists to do socially engaged artwork and coming outside the southeast, so either from other part of the UK or abroad, maybe as well with some refugee or migrant background. The other artist to participate in this exhibition, it's Russell Watkins, who is a photographer and work with DFID. He's filming me now, so he can't talk, but you can talk with him after. Alice Mutasa, a photographer who took photos of refugees in Kathmandu, refugees around Timbuktu, sorry. Timbuktu. It's unfortunate we can't trace how many refugees there is in so many places in the world. And you can see our photos both on the shelves and on the table. We have the boxes behind you that were exhibited at Tate Modern a few weeks ago by Lara Sorvana. She can come here, she's from Cardiff. We have the works of the Migrant English project, the decorative plates on the table. We have the school children works inside the rocket. And I won't talk about my artwork. You can see it around. You can ask me questions if you like. Last thing, everything is for sale, apart from my 2 dogs who are up there. We do seek donations, so if you know any rich people or institutes. And most important at the moment, because we are trying to raise funds from the Art Council very soon, there are feedback sheets that look like that dotted around. If you please fill them. If you'd like to be informed about the next exhibitions, the next one will be, the next event weekend will be a part of Refugee Week, 17 and 18 of June. You'll get notice through the email. And there is also a red guest book just on the window shelf. I'll be really grateful if you can sign. Now, before we do all of that, or you can do that, I'll take the big flag. And if you want to, and another event, Art and Law Network will have a workshop here next Saturday, all day. Lucy, would you like to say a few words, and you have
Yeah.
flyers as well. Yeah.
Sure, there's information on the table just down there and some flyers. We've got a couple of artists coming in to talk about their experience of working with a lawyer or an academic on combining law and art and how that can communicate politics, I suppose. And also we've got an artist clinic as well, so we've actually got a couple of lawyers who will be here from 3 till 4, who, if you've got any questions around, if you're an artist and you've got any questions about copyright or anything like that, then they will be here.
And it's all free.
All free, yeah. So it's 11 till 4. I'll be here all day. I'll be a chat about the Art and Law Network as well, what that does. It tries to bring together artists, lawyers and activists, agitators of all kinds to collaborate for social change.
You need to understand it's a very important issue. If I'll do to the flag from the country I came from what I did to the British flag, I can end up 3 years in jail.
Wow.
So, and also in this country sometimes it's not so open.
Yeah.
So for artists it's very important, and for audience I think it's important to know the limits of what kind of art you can do in England and elsewhere.
Yeah.
So please do come. So I would like to take a group photo, as usual we do it in the end of the presentations here, outside with a very big flag, which I'll have to move to the living room. So if you can browse, give me 2 minutes.